Wait. Okay, so we're ready. So tell me about your first day or first week of class.
Well, I have to say that going into my first day of class, for starters, I was different. If you recall, I was the person that went up and got the assistance from the FTLA group as to what could be a potential good first session. And I loved it. I loved all the suggestions that I got. I actually wrote it all down and I videotaped it and I still have it on my iPod Touch. But I walked in there just loving what I was about to present. So I think that's important to note too. My demeanor and my approach to it was something very different as well. But once the class got there, I think there was just this overwhelming expectation that, okay, well, just give us the syllabus and we'll be on our way to go buy the book and what have you. But it became really clear when I shared with them, like, look, we're going to be here for a while, and one of the things I had them do was initially do a free write on what they wanted their lives to be about in 10 years. So all the shock and disappointment, I guess, of not being let out early, soon all that energy was being focused on them writing the actual free write. And, after that was done, we got some ideas as to what they wanted their lives to be about, and most importantly, the skills that were needed to get there. And what we did is, at that point, once we identified the skills on the board, I passed out the syllabus and I asked the students, see if you could match up the skills that you need to reach your 10-year goal and the topics, discussions, and so forth that we're going to cover in the PD40 class. And wow, that went over very, very well. I put them into groups of, I think, 4 students per group, and they were looking and searching and talking and discussing, and we all came back together to identify those skills, and it just went very, very well. As a whole, I think that was an excellent way to start the semester, because it not only got the students talking, but I think it really set the tone for them to understand that in this class there was going to be some discussion, that their points of view were going to be valuable, even though they may or may not be popular or generally accepted. And that's what this class was about, not so much of memorizing definitions, but to really think within themselves and say, hey, well, this is what I think, or this is what I say I want my life or myself to be about. So all in all, it went really, really well. I loved it.
How do you think the students felt walking out of your class?
Excited. I think day 2, there was maybe about 3 or 4 students that were already enrolled in my class. They told their friends, hey, this is kind of a cool class. You might want to add, because there was a couple of open seats. So I know, just by them talking to me and saying, hey, thanks for a good class, I'm really looking forward to your class, etc., I know that it was something different for them, because like I said, they were expecting just to get the syllabus and head on out. But since then, every class session, it's like, hey, well, what are we going to talk about today? What's next? And once I get them talking, they really come up with some good discussions, some good sharing sessions, things that you could tell require critical thinking or some just a depth of thought. And so I think, wow, day 1 really helped set that tone. Absolutely.
And how's Facebook?
Well, with one of my sections, I do have Facebook. Students were really surprised when I did mention, hey, we're having an official group page for this section only. They were literally like looking around like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it, right? I'd say maybe about half the class initially signed up, and right now maybe about 75% of that section have signed up. At first, understandably so, I think they were just a little hesitant, like, well, what do I go on there for? And but then I started putting things up like, hey, so what did you think of the first class session, or the skills that you identified? If we missed any, come on in and share. day 2 or 3 of the class, it was funny because we were doing some icebreakers still, and there was a young man who said, hey, what's my birthday on Sunday, and I'm actually going to have this big party bash, and you're all invited. So he goes, hey, should I put the information on the board? And one of the two or three of the students said, don't put it on the board, just put it on our Facebook. We'll get it. So sure enough, he went on there, and he put it on there. So, you know, Facebook students are not just making connections within the classroom, but in parties as well. So it's been well. It's been well received, in my opinion. Yeah.